Now the next topic is a derivation. Now the derivation is of one-dimensional heat conduction equation. Students, at present we are considering only one-dimensional heat conduction equation. Further, after one dimension, we are going to consider the three-dimensional heat conduction equations. So in one-dimensional heat conduction equations, there are three cases. First is the large plane wall, then second one is the heat conduction from cylinder, third is spherical heat conduction from sphere. All we will be discussed one by one in order. So first of all, I am considering the one-dimensional heat conduction equation in a large plane wall. So students, when I am considering a large plane wall, then it means that the rectangular axes are preferable to solve the boundary conditions and the equations. This is a diagram for one-dimensional heat conduction equation to a large plane wall. Now just look at this diagram, and I request you to draw in your copy. So because this diagram will be referred various n number of times during the derivation, so just draw it. I am giving you a moment. Now hopefully you have drawn the diagram. So first of all, please look at the diagram and their terms which are present here. It is a large plane wall. Okay, heat is coming, and I am considering a volume element. So the volume element is shown here. This is a volume element. It is being highlighted, and you can see the red line going through it. So this is the volume element that is being under consideration. Now consider that the heat Qx is coming into the wall. Dot over the Q represents the rate. This is a very standard term which you must be using it from your basic thermodynamic courses. Then since I am considering the general case, so heat generation is also considered here. That means the volumetric heat generation rate is E dot gen. The heat coming out is Qx plus delta x. So why x plus delta x? Just look at the bottom side of the diagram. X is the location where heat is entering, and x plus delta x is the second location. That means for a elemental thickness of delta x. And here I have taken the rectangular axis. You can see it here. This is a rectangular axis. And in rectangular axis, this volume element is being placed, and the whole element which is under consideration is at a distance x from origin, and its thickness being delta x. So that's why q dot x and q dot x plus delta x. Area of the wall is a. In this, since it is a rectangular plane wall, therefore the area will be constant. So what does this mean? That means area at x and area x plus delta x are equal, and I am considering it to be a. So here I have put a some constraint that area is constant. In the general case, the area may not be constant. Moreover, I am considering the isotropic material, and density is constant, specific heat is constant, that means density of the material do not changes with the temperature. Specific heat also does not change with the temperature. These two assumptions are being taken, and since you must be knowing that these in general or in practical conditions, these elements, yeah, these thermodynamic, yeah, physical quantities of the material changes. Now as you know that heat transfer is always normal to the surface, therefore heat is being transferred along the normal. So this is the area A, and he is being transferred normal to the surface. This you can see from the diagram. Now I am going to perform an energy balance over this small element of thickness delta x. So what will be the energy balance? Just look at that one. A simple energy, you must be a simple fundamental rule of energy balance is that what the energy is coming and what the energy goes out. So how much energy is coming, it is q dot x, and the energy generated this, and energy going out is qx plus delta x and plus rate of change of energy within this element. That means how much energy this element has stored within it. So this can be written as, so this is the equation which is written here. All other things are explained to you. The other things are that thickness element delta, large plane wall, density of the material and specific heat is constant, and the heat transfer is normal to the wall. These all are explained to you earlier. Now coming to the energy balance of this element. So energy balance is rate of heat conduction at x, that is qx, plus rate of heat generation inside the element, that is E dot gen. Just reminding you that E dot gen is a volumetric phenomena. Then rate of change of energy element plus rate of heat conduction at x plus delta x. This is the energy balance equation. Just go through it. Now the next I have rearranged the equation in this fashion, that is qx plus delta x plus volumetric generation within the element, yeah, or internal heat generation within the element is equal to rate of change of heat content or energy content of the element during the time delta t. So students, the uh, whole energy balance is done over a time interval delta t. Now change in, now the second thing is change in energy of the element can also be written as, so that means energy, change in energy of the element. So delta E of the element is equal to energy at t plus delta t. That means what is the energy at t plus delta t time, and what was the energy at time t. Okay. Now as you must be knowing that what is energy can be written, what is thermal energy can be written as mcp delta t. So here I have written in the mcp is common, cp or c, here I have taken c instead of cp. So these comes out as a common part, and the remaining question is this one. Mass can be written as density into area into thickness, where delta x is the thickness of the element under consideration. So putting all these terms okay, into delta E of the element. Moreover, rate of heat generation, okay, rate of heat generation within the element can be expressed as this thing. You know that heat generation is a volumetric phenomena, so that's why it can be written as, and since volume of the element is constant, therefore it can be written as E dot generation into volume of the element, and since volume is constant, therefore area into delta x. This is the volume under consideration. Putting all these equations, that is equation number 2 and equation number 3, that means this one and this one into equation 1. So as you put all these things into the equation first, the equation can is modified into this particular equation. So you can put all these values and can found that the equation is reduced to this one. Simple mathematical calculation, which I am not going to explain you. Next is taking area common, A delta x. So now I have taken A delta x as common, or the volume of that element as common. So the equation reduces into this form. Now taking the limit, that means as delta x tends to 0, delta t tends to 0. This you must this is you can observe that as the thickness tends to 0, as you go on the thinning the element, that means delta x is, as the delta x reduces, time taken to heat transfer will reduce. That means as that will also reduce. That is why I have written delta x as tends to 0, delta t also tends to 0. So putting this thing, the equation reduces to this form. Now you must be considering what, how the equation this is transformed into this one. So the now students, you must remember their differential equation basic definition, that what is a differential equation. Dx by dt, it is written as function at x plus h minus function at x upon delta x. So here it is written that form. So and what is the value of q? Q is ka delta t by delta x. So I have skipped two steps here, uh, assuming that you know some fundamental mathematics and transformation equation. So it is the equation finally converts into equation 4. The further explanation is written here. That means just highlighting the things. Now you can understand very well that what actually happens. So here it is written that limit delta x tends to 0, qx plus delta x into delta x is equal to dever q by dever x, and the value of q I have written as minus ka dever t by dever x, the Fourier equation which I have taught you earlier. And substituting this one, the equation comes out to be this. So equation 4 is the final equation, and I think you must remember this thing, as this will come again and again. Now considering equation 4, so in equation 4, since area A is constant for a plane wall, therefore one dimensional heat conduction equation in a plane becomes this. So students, remember that the particular equation which I have just put a right mark is for constant area. If the area is not constant, then you can't take it out the area out of the differential till its variation with respect to x is not given. So this is the equation 4 can be treated as the most general equation, and if you are assuming area to be constant, then the equation is of the form as tick mark. Now various cases arises for this equation, or in other words can be various forms of equations are there under various conditions. First of all, the first form is of variable conductivity. So as you can, students, you can see that thermal conductivity, so what is thermal conductivity, that is denoted by K, is under the differentiation sign. That means here I have assumed K to be variable. So if you know the variation of K with respect to x and t, then you have to put the values here and differentiate it. And if thermal conductivity is assumed to be constant, that means if I say that okay, thermal conductivity within the temperature range is constant, then you can take it out of the differential sign. So if I take it out from the differential sign, just look at that. Now see, the thermal conductivity K of a material in general depends upon the temperature and therefore x. Since thermal conductivity is a property of material, and in general according to temperature it may vary, and moreover the temperature also varies along x, as you must be knowing the simple case of heating of a rod from one end, then then you might have observed that temperature goes on decreasing as the x increases. So therefore it is written that in general depends upon temperature and therefore x, and thus it cannot be taken out. That means if k is variable, then you cannot take it out x thermal conductivity like that. You have to first differentiate, then take it out. So again what I have explained here is written that thermal conductivity can, if assumed constant, can be taken out and the equation can be reduced under to this format. So how it is written here, where when just look at back again, when thermal conductivity is taken out, this case is when I am taking thermal conductivity out of the differential sign, then K will go to this under K and under K. Okay, so this is reduces to, this is alpha or thermal diffusivity, which you have, I have taught you earlier, and this since K is removed from here, therefore this may be written as del square T over del x square. So this is the reduced format, and where alpha is equal to K upon rho C, that is the thermal diffusivity of the material. Therefore now this is the second case of variable of constant thermal conductivity. Now considering the other various cases, if I assume to the steady state means steady state means dever over dever t is equal to 0. That means the properties do not change with time. Then in that condition, this term is 0. Hence, the equation can be written as in this form. Okay, now again, transient conditions, transient with no heat generation. The second case is transient with no heat generation. So students, what is transient? Transient means where the properties changes with time. So the case is that the temperature or is changing with time, therefore, and but no heat generation. Therefore, what will happen? So now that transient heat, as I explained to you just now, that where the steady state where variation with time is being under consideration. So the equation reduces to here delta t. This term is not equal to 0. Okay, but no heat generation, so therefore this term is 0. Therefore the equation reduces to this one. Okay students, now combining the above two conditions, that means steady state and transient with no heat generation. Therefore if I say steady state, if I say steady state, so that means this term is 0. If I say no heat generation, then this term is 0. Therefore this equation reduces to d square t by dx square. Now just go to this one and just have a look. I have written d square by t, whereas here it is written as dever square by t. So why I have written this? Since the partial and ordinary derivatives of a function are identical when the function depends only on single temperature. Okay, sorry, single function. So basic mathematics which you must be knowing from your first courses in mathematics, that if partial differentiation function is only dependent on a single variable, then it may written as prior to the ordinary differential equation. So that's why I have changed this one, del d square by t to dx square to this format. Okay, now hopefully you have understand this one, but I want to insist you on one thing, that please go through this thing again, this derivation, because the next two derivation and the three-dimensional derivation is based on this general equation only. The only thing which you will see in the other two equations, that is on the heat one dimensional cylinder heat transfer to cylinder and one dimensional heat transfer to sphere, is only a change in area. The rest things are almost same. That means the basic fundamental equation is same. And what is that basic fundamental equation? Remember that one, that in thermal engineering, whichever course you go, the basic equation, which is the energy balance equation, must be written properly. And here is also that one, that basic equation is energy balance. And what is that energy balance equation? Just go to that one again, I am showing it to you. So this is that basic energy equation. You must know how to write these things, these equations very well, and I think you must be well familiar with this one also, that how to write, because these things are taught in your first level and second level courses in thermodynamics. So again I am repeating it, that in cylindric, when you are deriving the heat transfer in one dimensional coordinates in cylinder and sphere, This is the very first equation which you are which you are going to write it down, and the only change which you will see is the area. So remember this thing, and now I will derive the second and second equation, that is heat transfer in one dimensional coordinate for a cylinder.